Hello and welcome to today's video where I'm going to be trying the new Nomad palette, which I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because it is French themed, and I never took French because it was really hard for me to learn. I opted to learn Spanish in school because I found that language to be much easier for me to learn. And so here's the inside color story. It is so beautiful. When I opened this palette up, when I got it in PR, I did see it before they revealed it on their Instagram, and I literally gasped. This is such a beautiful color story. I think this is one of Nomad's best color stories. I just love the cooler tones. I love the yellow. I love that these are in columns and you have the shimmers in the center. You have the lighter shades at the top and then the darker shades at the bottom. I like that this is one of their smaller palettes, and I just feel so inspired by this color story. Loving the tones, especially down here. They're kind of like grayish, taupey, purpley, lavender tones. I believe the lip glosses are going to be $12 and the palette is $39. I do have a non-affiliated code with Nomad Cosmetics in case you're interested. And thank you so much to Nomad Cosmetics for sending me the palette and the lip glosses. I was so excited when I saw the lip glosses because there's two shades in particular and they are just so sparkly. And then these other two shades are not as sparkly. I'm actually currently wearing the Uma Beauty Maya lipstick, and then I have the shade, oh my gosh, what is it called, in Meal on top of it, and I feel like it's not very, like, it looks a little bit metallic, but it's not really translating on top of this shade. So let's get right into the three looks, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts at the end of the video. I'm taking Champs de Lavande. I'm going to be completely butchering these because I don't know a lick of French. That is just not a language that I wanted to learn. I know we had a choice, I think, going into high school between French and Spanish, and I chose Spanish. Next up is Côte d'Azur, and quite honestly, I'm not going to remember the pronunciation correctly on all of these. It's just one of those languages that would be really hard for me to learn. I definitely think that Spanish was much easier for me to learn because it has some similarities to Czech. So the way that you have like formal use, Marche de Provence. I'm just going to deepen it up in here a little bit. I'm loving these tones so much. And then on the outer corner, going in with Hot Alps. I'm just going to kind of smoke it out here. I'm going to take the other gray shade and just help kind of blend that out, blend these two together. I think that Nomad's mattes have come a long way. There definitely has been a huge improvement going back in with the gray. I think I'm just going to call them my color. Taking some of the P. Louise paint primer in white on this Bella Beauty Bar brush that they sent me, and I'm just going to be doing a half cut crease. But the way I want to do it is I really wanted to make sure it was clean and had a light base to it because I'm going to go in with a yellow. So I'm just going to take that out here and kind of blend it in, tap it to get a smooth transition there. And I think that's a pretty good, maybe a little higher over here thanks to my hood. Just there, and then I think that's good. So then I usually like to just tap on it, taking the Refer 28 brush and Champs de Tournesol, which is a yellow, and it's just gonna go right on the inner portion of where I put down the white base. And then I'm taking Miel de Lavande in the center portion and blending it out here. I think I'm going to go back in with the gray shade and just kind of merge these two, a little bit of the dark gray shade. It's not quite a black, it definitely has a little bit of lightness to it. And then just back in here, it might look a little like weird here, but it's fine because, but I'm going to be putting down the yellow shimmer there actually. Taking a little bit of NYX glitter primer right here on that same brush that I cut the crease with. I'm just going to tap it on this portion of my lid, like right where they meet, and then I'm going in with Fleur de Mimosa. And that's going to go on top of that. The shade looks so sparkly and beautiful. Oh, this is such a beautiful shade. Actually gonna take my finger just so I can cover larger ground with that. And then up here, just kind of tapping it. And then gotta go under my lower lash line with the dark shade. That is just blending so beautifully. Love it. I'm going in with a darker yellow matte right next to that. And then the brighter matte over here. That one is having a little bit of harder time sticking down, I think, than some of these other shades that were really easy to use. I don't think there's really quite an inner corner highlight. I could use the yellow. Maybe I'll just, yeah, there we go. Just a little bit of that. Just for a little bit of sparkle. Here's the first finished look. I'm actually not going to be putting lashes on this time. On to the second look. I'm going to go in with Calisons right into the crease. I want to play with kind of this side of the palette on this eye, and I'm just gonna let it outwards, and I'm going to deepen it up with Vendange. A little bit back in with the other peachy shade. I think I lost it a little bit. And then taking macarons and putting them in the outer corner. This is a nice deeper shade. Also taking it underneath my lower lash line and just really feathering it out here. I'm going to take Rosé underneath the rest of my lower lash line. I'm going to go in with the tiniest bit, oh wow, that's okay, that's really pigmented, of the last shade in the palette because I want to just kind of deepen it up a bit, and that is mixing in so beautifully together. And then underneath my lower lash line, just a little bit back in here, and then I'm gonna dip back into macarons. And that is just deepened up so beautiful. Putting on some NYX glitter primer all over the lid. I'm taking Novette's and I'm gonna put that right above. And then underneath, going in with Flute à Corset. Ooh, look at this duochrome. So beautiful. I definitely think I actually could use a different brush for that to help pick it up better. Going with the 28 brush. There we go, from rougher. And then I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more of Novette's. Just to kind of get them to merge together. These are beautiful. Here's the second finished look. Going in with the lavender shade first. I'm just going to put it onto the inner crease very lightly, just to put it down, and just kind of feathering it out here. And I'm taking the slightly darker grayish purple shade. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce these names. And that's gonna just deepen it up here. And then going back in with a fluffier brush with just a little bit of that lighter lavender on it. Actually, I'm gonna go back in with the darker shade. I feel like they're not really blending that nicely together. They were fine on the other eye, so maybe it's just I didn't wait long enough for the primer to set down or something. Just doing quite a bit of back and forth here. Taking the darkest shade in the palette. This one has quite a bit of kick up in the pan, which I don't usually mind, but it is a little bit just messy. I'm just creating a wing with the shade, and then I'm gonna connect it on my lower lash line just a little bit. Like right here, I got a little bit of fallout. Then I'm taking the reddish shade and I'm just gonna put that on the edge of this and just kind of merge them together. And then I'm also going to take it out here, or down here rather. I think they're not really blending that well together. Go back in with the red. But I can always fix it. I'm going to be doing a little bit of a half-cut crease situation with the P. Louise paint primer in the shade 0. So I'm just taking it like this. And I'm taking it down. And I'm just gonna tap on it to kind of blend it in with the shadow underneath. Next, I'm taking the shade Burnovich N20 since there is no white shade in this palette. I'm just gonna press it to set it. Really want it to be like super opaque white. Then I'm gonna go back in with the red and fixed. That is exactly what I was kind of looking for. Next, I'm taking the Fairney Pixie Epoxy and I'm just gonna put that all over where I put the wing. Going in with the dark silvery shade first. I'm gonna put that on the inner half, layered over. And then on the outer half, I'm going in with the dark sparkly purple shade. Just really wanted to try these two shades out. And I thought we would just kind of pair them together. Take some of the paint primer from P. Louise and I'm just going to put it underneath my lower lash line so that the pastel yellow has something to stick down to. It is not the most pigmented pastel yellow, so it needs just a little bit of help. And even then, like, it's not too punchy. It's definitely very, 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 very pastel. All right, what do I want to use as inner corner highlight? I'm thinking of going in with the yellow. I think I already used it, but thought it would be kind of fun. I think I do want to deepen it up just like a little bit right above here. So I'm taking this 23 brush from Rephr. I'm going in with the darker purple shade and just taking a little bit of it and I'm just going to blend it upwards. Here's the final finished look. I put on the cream gel liner from ColourPop and extra frosting in the waterline, and the lashes are So Real from Kiss. So first I'm going to talk about the lip glosses. I think that these are super fun, and I love that Nomad is expanding to other makeup products and not just palettes. And I think this is a really great, exciting start. I really feel like lip glosses have been really just coming back into like popularity among the beauty sphere. The best I would describe these is that they are a little bit on the thicker side. They're not like super liquidy kind of lip gloss, but they are nice. They're not like really, really thick and goopy and weird. It feels really nice and comfortable on the lips. I have no complaints. And I also wanted to point out that there is no scent to these, at least from what I can tell. All right, onto the palette. Love the packaging. And like I said, I love the color story of this. This is just such a beautiful color story. I can't think of an eyeshadow palette that has a similar color story to this, but if you know of any, then definitely put them down in the comments below. I'm sure someone will be able to find another color story that is similar to this one, but to me, this is a unique color story. Again, I love that the shimmers are in the center. I love the arrangement of the mattes and everything. You can do some monochromatic looks, or you can kind of dip in between. I think there might be just a little bit of some of these shades you might not want to blend together because they will gray out. That's when color theory really comes in handy. I actually just finished watching Bridgerton on Netflix, and I gotta say, I feel like this color story is much more Bridgerton themed than the Pat McGrath palettes that they've launched. I think this is more of what I was expecting color story wise from Pat McGrath, but obviously we got like a bunch of pinks and neutrals and stuff. But I just feel like this one is a little bit more on brand. Just having watched the show, let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with that. The mattes are on par with some of their other palettes. I really enjoy using them. I really feel like their matte formula has gone a long, long way. I say this every time, but I feel like every time I use their mattes, I'm like, okay, this is good. There's only one shade in here that is just really, really pastel, and then is this yellow, and I think you can kind of just see like it's a pastel. It's going to be very, very light, but this one is definitely like even lighter. It's on the super pastel spectrum. Like I feel like there's a spectrum of pastel. Some of them are a little bit brighter. Some of them are just really, really, really light, and this one is that. I really like this shade for deepening up the mattes. You can use it and pair it with the pink as well as the reddish shade and even the yellow. It is a little bit, it's not like a true black. It's more of like a grayish charcoal black, if that makes any sense. As for the shimmers, there's a couple of different textures in here, it seems. There's a satin, which is the shade right here. This one is a little bit like in between these two shades. So this one is really, really beautiful, sparkly, a little bit more topper-like, but you can kind of build it up, especially if you use some sort of a tacky primer. You can really get it to be opaque. All three of these I would say are duochromes, and then these two shades are like a sparkle infused formula that they have. They're metallic, but they have flecks of another color in them, specifically this shade right here. It's really dark purple, but I think I see like gold flecks in there, maybe like pink or something too. I do prefer using the NYX Glitter Primer or the Fair & Pixie Epoxy with the Nomad Metallics to just really amp them up and get them to their full potential. So let me know in the comments below if you're going to be picking any of these up. Are you interested in the palette? What do you think? Which look was your favorite? And if you would like to see more videos with Nomad Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes, I will put some up here so you can keep watching. And I do have lots and lots of other indie makeup brand eyeshadow palette tutorials, videos, as well as single eyeshadow content. So thank you so much for watching.